Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
What's up, guys? This is Grant from Brutally Delicious Podcast, bringing you another review for an album that, if anybody just wants to take my word for it, I am thoroughly impressed with. Today I am bringing you As the Sun Falls, new album, Kaamos. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. It's Kaamos for anybody that wants to Google it. Billed as Mellow Death from originally Switzerland and now Finland. Once again, I've got no idea who these guys are, if anybody listened to my last review, so I'm giving a first impression review. And this time round, I'm just going to talk about the album as a whole. I'm not going to be singling out individual tracks, because one of the big things about this album, the way that the 11 tracks are structured, it's beautiful, and it is designed to be listened to as one complete experience. So I'm not going to isolate too much. If you want to give this a listen, give all of it a listen. It's not one to pick out a favourite track or this one's particularly good. It's beautifully put together. It's absolutely sublime. Opens up with a beautiful little moody intro track that isn't necessarily part of the rest of it. It's 3 minutes of beautiful atmospheric building and sets the tone for what follows, which is some really, really well put together, blackened mellow death. Mellow death is maybe not quite where I would bill these guys personally, and that's not a bad thing. To quote Mike Patton, fuck genres. And this is kind of what these guys are doing here. They don't really get pigeonholed into anywhere in particular, which is, I think, why I like this so much. There's neoclassical elements going on there. There's hints of symphonic metal going on in there. There's hints of black metal going on in there. You can clearly hear a bit of a classical music influence going on in the way that all of these tracks are structured, which only adds to the fact that it should be listened to as one complete piece, so to speak. So let's get on to the mix. The mix on this is beautiful. It's nice. It's evenly blended. All of the musical elements are complementing each other in a nice, crisp fashion. There's nothing drowning each other out. There's nothing that you can't hear. The guitar sound is really, really crisp. It cuts through really nicely, and likewise the drum sound really, really cuts through in all of the right areas without anything getting muddy or anything like that. Vocals wise, which is where I like to spend a little bit of time, I'm a bassist and vocalist as well. The shades of Michael Ackerfeld to this guy when he's heavying his vocals up, and I like it. I really, really like it. It's low, it's got a rumble to it, but there's a divine clarity on these vocals that a lot of metal vocalists tend to forget. Metal production, it's always, let's make it distorted, let's make it loud, let's make it as aggressive as it can possibly sound, and often being able to hear what the guy's saying gets lost in that mentality, and these guys have not gone with that mentality. They've gone for crisp, clean sound. Yes, the vocals are distorted, but you can make out what this guy's saying without a lyric sheet in front of you, which is really, really great. Thematically wise, as far as this album is concerned, there's a lot of sadness involved. There's a lot of negative emotion. And again, this is a little bit of a breath of fresh air. Metal, death metal especially, it's often a genre where violence reigns supreme. And it's very, very nice to hear a band that are as heavy as these guys tackling negative emotions while remaining heavy. To summarise, this album's top class. It really, really is. It's getting added to my playlist. I'm going to be checking out the rest of these guys' stuff. This has been a breath of fresh air in a genre, especially Scandinavian metal or death, where a lot of bands run the risk of sounding the same. You've got some big names from up there. You've got At the Gates, you've got Soilwork, you've got In Flames, that are all, battering out a very good, very refined, very easily recognizable product. And these guys have just steered ever so slightly away from that traditional Scandinavian sound and given the listener something to experience that you don't really get much anymore. Individualism. Breaking down barriers, breaking down genres, breaking down boundaries. I don't rate the albums that I review. You don't get a 10 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10 or anything like that. But to go back to what I said at the beginning of this review, listen to it. It's As the Sun Falls, Kaamos, Kaamos. Get it googled, get it listened to, and support these guys, because this was a special album. You will not be disappointed. This is Grant for the Brutally Delicious podcast, signing off.